Hello, I'm TheNerdySteve, and welcome to my channel. Today I will be reviewing A Different Man in One Take. So, let's go. Edward is living with neurofibromatosis, a genetic disorder that causes tumors to grow around his face. He opts to participate in a study that will potentially cure him of his condition. And it works. But now, does he like who he has become once he got what he thought he wanted? A Different Man is an interesting film. I enjoyed my experience with it, but I don't know if I would recommend it. It is a well-acted character study that is held back by unconventional and weird plot choices. The movie is kind of separated into two parts: the pre and post medical treatment. We first see Edward as he lives his very mundane and ordinary life. He follows a very specific routine that supports his very specific life. Nothing too spectacular happens here. Then he gets a new neighbor, Ingrid, who moves into the apartment next to his, and there is an immediate and intimate connection that grows over time. But Edward doesn't see it, or notices it, or believes it, or feels that he deserves it. And this is where the movie really shines, how it focuses on his wants and needs and his mental anguish, and how he chooses to navigate this relationship. And Ingrid is the spur that forces him to seek out potential remedies for his condition. The attempt is successful. We then get to the second half of the movie, and this is where A Different Man falls apart. My largest problem was figuring out how much time had passed between each scene. It seemed like some were months and others years, but I was never sure. And that confusion increased because of a lack of information. I was making too many logical leaps to make things make sense. In Memento, the scene jumps all over chronologically, and this was thematically relevant and used effectively. Part of the joy of Memento is to figure out the puzzle. For an emotional character study like A Different Man, I ended up doing a lot more work than I wanted, and all I wanted to know was how much time had passed. It's such a bizarre decision because we lose out on Edward's development, how his relationships change. He becomes a successful businessman, but I don't know how or why that happened. I wanted to see how Ingrid reacted when old Edward disappeared. If this movie is about identity, it does a disservice to the audience when we don't see how that identity is developed. The absence of these scenes made me take a step back from the movie and disconnect because I now was questioning so much more about these characters than what I was relating to. The latter half of the movie also has Edward make his way back into the life of Ingrid under a new identity. And I don't know if this was the director's intention, but these scenes are so icky because of what he knows and she doesn't. This is a trope that appalls me and not appeals to me, and could be why the movie left a sour taste in my mouth. If you've seen The Lobster and loved it, I think A Different Man is more likely to be enjoyed by you. The Lobster has this bizarre premise where single people after a certain age must be turned into animals. Again, a bizarre premise. But The Lobster also has a huge halfway point that changes the dynamic of the movie. And I think it does so much more successfully than A Different Man, while also maintaining the integrity of each character. The Lobster also has a lot more action sprinkled throughout it that causes you to be engaged, where really only one thing exciting happens in A Different Man, and it just comes out of nowhere in the last couple of scenes. Anyway, A Different Man may not have landed for me, but if you're very into this dark comedy, fantastical drama genre, and you like that borderline dirty aesthetic, you'll absolutely love this movie. Or not. Who knows? I'm TheNerdySteve, and thank you so much for watching, and as always, like and subscribe and comment below to tell me how right or wrong you think I am. Have a wonderful morning, evening, or afternoon, wherever you are. Bye.